Hello everyone. In our previous session, we have discussed some arguments in favor of social responsibility. Why did they think that social responsibility is an important part of business? And in today's session, we will see some arguments against social responsibility. Means there are some people who think that business has nothing to do with social responsibility. Now let us see those arguments. It is disputed by certain viewers as to why the business should assume morality. They claim that the only aim of the business enterprise is profit motive, not the services of the masses. Now, what they think is that the main and the most important motive or the objective of a business is to earn profit. They don't have to think about what the mass or what the society needs. Business is not religious institution, but it is profit earning unit. The supporters of this view advance the following arguments. Now, those who don't think that social responsibility has anything to do with business, they support following arguments. Now, first argument is consumers' interest. Now, the business owes its obligation to its customer to supply standard quality of goods at reasonable price. Now, we know that a business motive, apart from earning profit, is that they should provide a good quality product at a reasonable price to their consumer. But if the business assumes its social responsibilities, that means if a business starts thinking about the society and if they start taking responsibility of the society, what it will lead to is that it will increase their cost of production. That means obviously if they are taking care of their society, they will spend some amount of money on that, and ultimately it will lead to the increase of cost of production. So which in turn what it will do is that it will increase the price of the commodity. Now, and indirectly it will be against the interest of the customers. So this was their first argument. Then second argument was ethics and profit motive are two different things. They said that since business main objective is to earn profit, and ethics and profit motive are totally different things. So the business, instead of thinking about ethics, they should think about only earning profit. The sole aim of the business is to earn more and more profit. If it becomes moral entity, its sole aim will be adversely affected. Now they think that if a business starts thinking about ethics or about society, then it will get diverted from their main motive, that is of earning profit. The next is social welfare is the responsibility of the government. Now some people, they argue that thinking about society and developing society is not no one else's concern but governments. They think that only government should do all the schemes, or they should introduce all those schemes which will help in developing the society, rather than business taking interest in this field. Business has no relationship with welfare schemes. Now next is danger of dictatorship. What the people who are against social responsibility, what they said is that if business starts thinking about society and if they try to create society, then it will lead to the danger of dictatorship. Means the business will own that society and they will start controlling that society. So it is indirectly a dangerous thing for the society as well. Then the last argument they put up is that ambiguity of the term business ethics. They said that the business ethics in itself, it is very confused. Means the meaning is not that much clear about what is business ethics. The term business ethic is ambiguous, means it's unclear. It has got no specific meaning. It is wide enough to include a lot of things. As we have seen in our previous session, that the social responsibility is wider than legal responsibility. Now those who oppose social responsibility, they say that it is a very wide term to include the things which include a lot of things. Unless the government specified, means unless the government specifically mentioned what comes under social responsibility, it is impossible for business to think about business ethics and social responsibility. Now these were the 5 types of argument which people put up opposing social responsibility. Now, when we talk about social responsibility of a business, it is nothing but their duties, their responsibility towards interest groups. Now, those interest groups, they are divided into 5 parts. Now, first part is the owner part, owners, investors, shareholders. Then second part is the workers or employees of the organization. Third part is customers and consumers. Fourth is government, and last one is community. Now what we will do is that in this session we will be discussing what are social responsibility of a business towards their owners as well as workers and employees. Now let us see what are the social responsibilities of business towards owners, investors or shareholders. Now every business, we know that they need capital to start or to conduct the business, means to run their business. So in that case, what they do is that the owner, they introduce capital, investors, they invest their money into the business, or shareholders, they buy share and they invest money in the business. So in case of partnership, it is supplied by partners themselves, means in case of partnership we know that capital is introduced by the partners, but in case of joint stock companies, the capital is supplied by shareholders. Shareholders, they purchase share and they provide capital. In case of sole proprietorship and partnership, is managed by the owners themselves, therefore they look after their interests. But in case of joint stock companies, shareholders being virtual owner, means they don't take part directly into the management of business, but they are handled by board of directors, are reduced to be nominal owners because the company is managed by board of directors. Now shareholders, they have nothing, they don't have any control over the management of company. Their relationship with company is indirect. The special position of shareholders demands that the business should have the following responsibilities towards them. Since the position of shareholders is separate or different from that of management of the business, what they expect from the business, or we can say what are the social responsibilities of a business towards those shareholders is: number 1, provision of dividend at reasonable rates, means the business, they are supposed to provide dividend, means return at reasonable rate. Now the rate should not be that less compared to other companies, so that the shareholders will feel like they are investing in a wrong business. If they invest in some other kind of business, then they might be getting more dividend. Okay, so the business, they have to keep in mind that the rate of return that they are providing is justifiable with other business. In case the dividend is paid at lower rates or not paid, shareholders will like to withdraw their funds from the company. Okay, now the general rate of dividend is 5 to 25%. The next is regular payment of dividend. Now as a shareholder, they expect from business that they will get regular payment of dividend. Until unless they don't get regular payment, they will feel like to withdraw their amount or their money. Then next is increase in the value of investment. Apart from profit motive, a business's another objective should be to increase the value of their investment. There is generally an increase in the value of assets, that is land and building. Ultimately, by the passing of time, the value of land as well as building increases. So just like that, in business also, the company, they would like to increase their shares, the value of their shares and assets in the market. There can be increase in value of shares. Now they can increase their value of shares by making more profit or by declaring dividend at higher rates. Then next is control over the use of funds. Subscribing for shares is a risk investment. It is the unsecured liability of the company. That means the person who are investing into the company as a shareholder. Now businesses or companies' responsibility is to handle those funds in such a manner that the shareholders, they feel secure. That means they should feel secure that their money or their fund are in good hands. So it is necessary that shareholders should have control over their funds. Means there is always a danger of shareholders fund being misused. Means some companies or some management, what they do is that after getting fund, they don't use those funds properly. So it is in the hands of the shareholders that they should take control over their funds. They should see whether their funds are used properly or not. The next is representation of minority shareholders. Now minority shareholders means, let's understand what are majority shareholders. In general, majority shares are held by interested group of industrialists who virtually own and manage the affairs of the company. Now majority shareholders are those people or those organizations who holds major part of shares in a business. So basically, since they are owning a large part of the shares, they will be handling major decisions of the industry or the company. So while doing that, the company or the business, they should not ignore about minority shareholders as well. Such a state of affairs should not be allowed to happen. That means even though the minority shareholders are there, they should be treated equally as majority shareholders. Now there are some responsibility of business towards their workers as well as employees. Now let us see what are those responsibilities. To give them fair wages. If they don't give fair wages to their workers, they will not work properly in the organization and they will not give their 100%. It is the social, moral, humane and the business responsibility of every venture to pay a reasonable amount of wages and salaries to employees so that they can lead a respectable life in the society and maintain their efficiency in the work. Now, why fair wages are important? In order to lead a respectable life in the society, as well as it leads to the efficiency of the worker in their performance. The enterprise must pay the minimum wages prescribed by the government for that type of work. Now there are some rates prescribed by government which will be taken as minimum wages to be given by the business to the employees. Wages should be determined after taking into consideration the remuneration being paid by other ventures. Now, while fixing wages for workers, a business enterprise should take into consideration, means they should check how much amount of remuneration their opposition business or their competitive business ventures are giving to their workers. Then they have to think about cost of living, then financial and other financial incentives as well. They should think all of this before fixing the wages. The next is security of the job. If a worker doesn't feel secure in his job, then he will not be able to work properly. So it will lead to inefficiency of the worker. Now, to increase the efficiency of a worker, what a business can do is that they can make the workers feel secure about their job. Means worker's job must be safe and secure so that he may feel himself to be the permanent asset of the business and contribute his best efforts and energies to the business. Means they should be able to feel that they are taken as an important part of the business and they will be able to give their 100% to the business. If the worker is under constant fear of being removed and retrenched, he will not be able to render his best services. Means if he has fear of kicking out from the business, then he will not be able to give his full performance. So the business should satisfy itself with the efficiency of the worker at the time of his appointment. So what the business can do is that while selecting a particular worker, they should see whether that worker has capability of working in that organization or not. But if he doesn't have any that kind of qualities, then he should not be appointed. But once he gets appointed, then they cannot kick him out. Means they cannot send him out just because his performance is not that good. Okay. The next is creating congenial atmosphere of work. Now working conditions must be healthier and refreshing. So business enterprise, what they can do is that they can make their working condition healthier and refreshing by making sure that it is spacious. Means it is not congested, then the workplace is clean, properly ventilated, that there is proper ventilation, then it is free from dirt and suffocation. Now some companies, what they do is that they provide parks for recreation and all those things. Now safety measures should also be there to avoid accidents. Now if there are beautiful parks and greeneries, now to make their workers work properly, they can provide beautiful park as well. The next is scientific selection and training of employees. The selection and appointment of workers should not be made on emotional preferences. Now, while selecting candidates, there should not be any emotional factor involved. It should be purely based on the qualification of the worker as well as requirement of the business. Until and unless he doesn't qualify for the work that he is applying for, he should not be appointed in the business organization, or in other words you can say right workers should be appointed for right jobs. Now after selection, if the worker need any kind of special training, then he should be provided by that kind of training by the business enterprise. Then next is promotional avenues. Now there should be promotion chances in an organization to develop the competency of worker. Every employee desires his promotion. Now every worker, they think of promotion in future. The post that they are working now, they will be promoted in future, so that leads to motivation. In case of more promotional avenues, workers will work sincerely to attain the higher status. Now in order to get that promotion, what the worker do is that they work properly and they show that they are competent for higher position as well. Promotional opportunities are constant source of incentives to the employees. Promotions are justified in humanitarian grounds. In case there is no provision for professional growth, employees will stagnate on a particular scale of pay without any incentive to work more and better. Means if there are no promotional chances in an organization, what the worker will do is that they know ultimately that they will not get any promotion, and they will keep their performance at the level at which they are working now. So there will be no development in the working of workers. So we may conclude the social obligation of business towards employees means there are fine words given by Jawaharlal Nehru indicating the importance of workers or employees in an organization. He said that in the present economic and industrial structure, the relationship between workers and owners should not be that of owner and workers, but workers should be treated as partners and colleagues, and in this way there can be the peaceful solution of all economic problems. Means if the worker treats their employees as partner, then there will be no conflict between management and worker, and there will be solution for each and every economic problems that the business is going to face in future. So these were the two responsibilities, or you can say social responsibility towards owners or investors or shareholders, and another that we discussed is responsibilities of business towards their workers or employees. Now in next session we will continue our this topic, that is responsibilities of business towards consumers and customers. Now for this session we will wind up here. Thank you.